Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to my hobby blog. Today we are doing episode 26, I believe, of the Withering Watchpile, maybe 27 if I remember right. And today we are doing the theme of the Criterion collection, and I'm happy to welcome back to the channel Leon, aka CultFlixFix24. Welcome back.
Thanks, Christian. It's always a blast to be on here and an honor as well. And I'm excited to talk about Criterion films. Uh, Genre I still need to break into. I know you got some experience with it, but yeah. Thanks for having me again. It's always a blast, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's really funny because they had the sale this month, and I haven't taken part in a sale in about a year or so. So I had a lot of fun kind of picking up all these new titles, and I think two of these, all three of mine actually, have been released in the last year or so, if I recall right. I'm probably wrong about one of them. But yeah, it was really fun to go back to Barnes & Noble and pick up some Criterions. It's been about a year, as I said. So, were you able to take part in the sale, or are these kind of from previous sales?
No, I wasn't. These are from previous sales. I did get a new release on here that I picked up not too long ago, so
Ooh, okay.
so it is fresh. Yeah,
That'd be exciting.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, since I chose the topic, I can go ahead and jump first into my number 3 choice. This is my
yeah.
least favorite of the one. I thought it was still very effective, but this is a film directed by Karen Kusama from 2001 or 2000, starring Michelle Rodriguez, and it is Girl Fight.
No.
This one was really fucking good for like the first hour and 40 minutes, I want to say. Yeah, because it's almost 2 hours long. It's an hour and 51 minutes. I really enjoyed like 90% of the movie, where it's basically just your standard boxing movie where you have a underdog who is trying to find meaning in her life. She's a high school student. So it's a pretty young Michelle Rodriguez in one of her earliest roles. And she's fantastic in this. I loved her performance. And along with the actor who played her brother and also her coach. But she's in high school and she's getting into fights. No one really respects her at school. So she's trying to find something to do. She's failing all of her classes. She's being threatened with expulsion because she keeps getting into fights. The counselor in the beginning of the movie is like, you've been in 4 fights already this semester. Like, this is the last one and you're out of here. So she's like, you know, at the bottom of the bottom. The only way is up. So she visits her brother who is training to be a boxer, but he's a lot more of a creative type and just wants to go to art school. He's even been accepted to an art college, and his dad thinks it's a joke. And, you know, she thinks it's a joke as well, and she's jealous of him because she has a lot of strength, but her dad is not paying her to go to these boxing lessons. And her brother is just, you know, his heart is not in it. He wants it to be because he knows that his dad is really, like, you know, puts a lot of value into that. And so he tries to keep her away from the boxing gym, but she has such like audacity and confidence. She just walks in there and is like, "You're gonna train me," like to the coach, and he's like, "Okay," like so he just kind of starts training her, not expecting much, but ends up that she's really skilled and she has a lot of talent in boxing, and so it's a very standard boxing movie. If you've seen like Rocky, you're very familiar with the structure of this movie and the plot. But the thing that I did not like about this movie, and this is why it's number 3, is sort of what the final 10% is, which is the resolution of the romance arc, because she has a boyfriend on the side who's also a boxer. And I just did not care at all about any of that. I just wanted it to be a boxing movie, and they didn't really have any chemistry on camera, the two actors. So that did not help. And I thought the ending was just really cheesy. I'm not going to give it away, but it's cheesy. It wasn't the best, but it was just kind of like, oh, okay. But the first, like, 90% of this movie, I think, is really effective, and I really enjoyed it. But I gave it on Letterboxd a 3.5 out of 5. It was a solid 4 out of 5 for most of the movie, up until that ending, and then I was like, oh, okay. So that's about all I have for my first movie. Have you seen this one? Do you know of it?
No, I haven't actually have it on the shelf,
Ooh.
but I almost picked this movie, so I'm glad I didn't.
Oh. We've
But
done that before, having the same
yeah,
one.
but yeah, I'm interested. I think Michelle Rodriguez was like born to play this role. If I haven't seen the film, but it just
Hmm.
seems like she'd fit this role, that tough girl like
Oh yeah.
mentality and stuff. And I saw a movie, $1 Million Baby with Hilary
Oh
Swank.
yeah.
Yeah, and that was a
Clint
pretty
Eastwood,
excellent
right?
movie. Yeah, Clint Eastwood, and that's what this film kind of like reminded me of. I don't know if it's similar or not, but
It is pretty similar, yeah.
yeah. But the one with $1 Million Baby, I liked the whole film till the ending. The ending I
Hmm.
just didn't care for, but
Oh
the
yeah.
whole movie was good till the end. But yeah, this seems interesting. I want to check this one out eventually.
Yeah, I love the cover for it as well. I only chose it based off of the cover when I was in the store, because I didn't realize this was Michelle Rodriguez, but it makes sense now. She has that defiant stare going on that she's so iconic for. But yeah, yeah, I had no idea what this movie was about. I just kind of popped it into the disc. And once I saw it was a boxing movie, I was like, okay, I know exactly how this movie's gonna go. And it is pretty predictable, but I think it's still worth a watch. I think you would enjoy it a lot too. So,
Yeah, it seems like my type of movie. Like I like sports movies like that, so I'd probably
so
be
do
into
I.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't do any sports, obviously, but
yeah.
if it's an effective movie, I like it. So,
Yeah, I'm gonna add that to the watch. Well, I have it on my watch pile. I just haven't got to it, so hopefully soon.
okay, what's your first movie?
Okay, I'm gonna start off with a movie that I'm probably is not gonna be a popular thing being first on the list, but it's just where it hit me. So
Uh oh.
I'm gonna go with this is an old horror film, 1932's
Oh
Vampire or
yeah,
Vampire. I don't know how you
yeah,
pronounce that.
Vampire. Yeah.
Vampire. Okay. Uh, this is a old Gothic story. I mean, it's a like I said, 1932. Um, you got a guy. Pretty much it's Alan Gray is his name,
I
and
think so. Yeah.
he's kind of like this. He's into the occult. Like he's investigating supernatural and pretty much like like the devil worshiping occult stuff like that. He's
Hmm.
got all his interests, so he ends up at this creepy like inn where he's staying at, and he stumbles across just like these odd characters, and there's like these supernatural kind of like stuff going around. Like I mean, there's a scene that really caught my attention is like when shadows start walking by themselves. I just thought that was
Oh
really
yeah,
creepy. Probably my
especially for
favorite
the
part.
30s. Like it's impressive, the effects in
Yeah,
this movie.
exactly for that. And yeah, the imagery in this is excellent. Like it's really creepy. The the only thing that brought me down to bring it first is the pacing. It's really slow at times,
I
and that's
agree.
where that's where it dropped for me. Like, but I mean, this film it's a vampire tale. You've seen it before, but this is like I think this is like one of those beginning ones where without this film, I think you don't get a lot of vampire films like history because it tells the tale of I mean vampires. You have a girl who's ill. She's pretty much been bit by a vampire, and she's slowly like digressing, like getting she's
Hmm.
ill, and it's up to this guy and his sidekick, which I really liked. They have to pretty much find this vampire and put the stake through the heart. You know the story of it, and this will reverse the curse or whatever. So that's the what is taking place. But I mean, there's more to this film. Like it's a German film. I did watch the English text version,
Hmm.
so it's I don't know how the German version is because there's a German version too, but you get like this dreadful feeling throughout this film. Like it's really
Hmm.
and it fits the atmosphere. Um, I mean, I say this in my head. We're spoiled nowadays with the vampire films we get because you get these awesome effects, and
Yeah.
this one is like the root. So I do, you gotta respect that.
Hmm.
But the only thing I gotta say is the pacing is what dropped it for me to put it at the first film. Also, this whole film was filmed in one location. What I was reading,
Hmm.
so like the whole cast and crew, there's an old creepy castle was actually their lodge too, where they
Hmm.
had to stay while they were filming this. So That
Yeah.
was pretty interesting. And none of the actors were professional. They were just hired like on the spot. So I think the main guy, he pursued a career in journalism,
Hmm.
is what I was reading. But
His character is
he,
very much like a journalist, if I remember right.
yeah, he's playing that just
Investigating it. Yeah.
just in supernatural form or whatever. But yeah, it's a mind trip because you get scenes like that are bizarre. I mean, like coffin scenes, and it's definitely one of a kind film. And I did enjoy it overall, but I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's a solid 3.5. Like I said, the pacing kind of knocked it off for me a little bit, but I mean, you're not gonna. It's not a long movie. I mean, it's just a little over an hour, so it's not
Hmm.
gonna burn your brain out or anything. But
2 hours
it's
of.
of just yeah.
God. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna put that one at a 3.5 out of 5 and first on my list. I'm glad I did see it
Yeah,
finally.
it's a great movie. I've seen it many times. I have the same edition. I really want to get the Eureka versions, the new, I think, restoration of it. And they have a new
Mm.
commentary with Guillermo del Toro. I don't know
Oh
what he
wow,
has to say about the movie, but I'm very interested to see
yeah,
what he has to say. But I watch this movie every October. It's a very atmospheric, kind of slow movie. I agree about the pacing. That's one of my main issues. I keep falling asleep every time I watch it, but I think it adds to the atmosphere because you get this really spooky music. It's a silent film as well, so you get the closed captioning, the title cards, I guess they're called. And it's just like I love the effects in it as well, which is in the first like half hour or so, and then the next half hour, if I remember right, is more resolution and just people going crazy as
yeah.
everything ramps up. But it's a great movie, yeah. But I think I have it at like 4.5, but that's because I've seen it like 4 or 5 times now. Well, it's just like a comfort movie for me. It's always like October 1st or 2nd, at least the first week of October. I always have it on the list. So,
Yeah, I think that's a film I gotta see more than once to like.
mm-hmm,
I think it'll grow on me. It's just like my first view, so I'm kind of still kind of like sinking everything in about the film.
mm-hmm,
But I think it's one that will get better as you watch it over time and you understand it more. Because there's
yeah,
still scenes that I'm in my mind that I don't know what the hell is going on. Like honestly,
yeah,
but I guess that's what makes a good film. You don't want to be spoon fed everything.
yeah, and the length again, as you mentioned, is like an hour long. Like it's
Yeah,
really quick. So,
yeah. So that's all I got on this film. If you have anything else
that's
you
about
want
all
to
I
say on
have.
it.
Yeah. So for my number two, this is one that the rating has fallen a bit since I first watched it. I watched it like a week or two ago, but it's 1996, and it's a Scottish film called Train Spotting. It's
Mm.
I guess should be like this, but the cover is kind of sideways. But it has Ewan McGregor in it. I think it's one of his earliest roles. I think he's absolutely fantastic in this movie. It's all about a group of friends who are all like heroin addicts and who are just trying to get the next hit, and they're getting involved in like heists and stuff like that. And it's really cool in that regard, and the music is just phenomenal throughout the movie. But my issue with it is that it's such a sleazy movie, and I it depends on this type of sleaze, but this type of sleazy movie I'm not really into. But in terms of the filmmaking and the acting and the story and everything like that, it's absolutely fantastic. I originally gave it like a 4.5 out of 5, but I think it's closer to 4 for me, which is still really good for such a sleazy movie. But this movie is pretty short too. It's an hour and a half, almost exactly, and it just did not strike me as well. This is one of those movies you hear about a lot, just in movie collecting circles, especially before the Criterion, because there was an issue with the I guess DVD and the original Blu-ray where they had like a green tint on it that was very like intense, and everything was just green. And for this version, they cleaned up all of that, and
Oh
it
well.
looks very like industrial and just sleazy. Like you have to take a shower after watching this movie, and so it's kind of like a Lucio Fulci type of sleaze. But obviously, I'm more of a fan of Lucio Fulci's sleeves than I am this one. But I really enjoy the dialogue in this movie as well from time to time, because it's very heavily Scottish. This movie, its identity is Scottish. And they have tons of different scenes where Ewan McGregor, wants to have a better life and he's trying to give up heroin. But he keeps getting kind of roped into doing more heroin. And so it's really kind of interesting to watch him kind of going back and forth and talking with all these characters. Because some of them are just happy to do heroin all day, every day. And we get some really fantastical scenes, kind of like a Terry Gilliam movie. Mostly the God, what's it called? The one Terry Gilliam with Tobey Maguire, Benicio del Toro, and Johnny Depp. Gosh.
Fear and Loathing?
Yes, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
I remember the Las Vegas part, but I didn't remember the first. But it's very similar to that movie, but that movie's a lot more comical and funny, and also so absurd because you see them like really go deep in drugs, into drug use, and they see just the craziest shit. This movie is a lot less of like the absurd and like comical, and a lot more of the like, this is a terrifying experience, but there's nothing they can do. And there's a really disgusting scene in the beginning where Ewan McGregor is having stomach issues and he's trying to find a bathroom and he's unable to find one. So he finally just, I guess in Scotland, at this period of time, you had to pay to use the bathroom. Like they had like coins that you would have to like put your nickel in or whatever. And it would unlock the door and you could go in and use it. And he goes to like the most disgusting bathroom you've ever seen. It looks like the bathroom from Candyman. That's how disgusting it looks. Like, it's really bad. And so he has diarrhea all in the toilet. And then earlier in the movie, he swallows some heroin like in a Ziploc bag so he can go through like the government checkpoint. And so he shits it out, and it's in this like toilet that's overflowing because it's like not taken care of. It's in like the projects or whatever. And he like reaches down into the toilet and is like fishing around it. And then he starts like crawling into the sewer. And he goes deep into the toilet and it comes out from like an underground lake. Which apparently in Scotland they have for the toilets. It goes right to the water shed or whatever. To the just the water underneath the earth. The water table, I guess. And so he's like swimming around, then he goes back up through the toilet and he's just covered in like shit. It's a really disgusting scene. But I was just like sitting there trying not to throw up the entire like scene. And like the rest of the movie is similar to that. So it really sets the mood for it. So it's really, that's why I rate it lower than originally, because I thought it was like a 4.5, but then as I sat with it, I was like, yeah, I did not like that movie as much as I originally did. I was definitely knee-jerk letterbox reviewing it, but yeah, I think it's a great movie. I think everybody should try and watch it, but I'm not upset if you don't enjoy it because I completely understand.
Yeah.
Like, this was the limit of what I could handle in this type of movie. So, Requiem for a Dream is a lot sort of my go, which is very similar to this movie. So, it might have been like a loose remake. I don't know, but that's about all I have to say about this. Have you seen this movie? Do you know anything about it?
No, I haven't. I know nothing about it. So, seems interesting. My type of film. I like films having to do with drug addicts and street films like that, so I'd probably enjoy it. Like, is it from the 90s?
Yeah, 1996.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
94 minutes is very quick as well, so that's nice.
I have Requiem for a Dream on my shelf, and I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, yeah, you should definitely watch that. That one's great. The performances are amazing. The music's amazing. For like a year or two after watching it for the first time in college, I just had the soundtrack always going. I haven't listened to it in a while or seen the movie, so I need to rewatch it and just kind of bask myself back in. But I remember I was in a haze after watching that movie. I was completely depressed.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the most depressing movies you'll ever see, but it's great. So,
check that out and look for Train Spotting too, because I've never even heard of that film till now.
Oh,
Honestly,
really? Yeah. It's
yeah.
a big movie. This is one of those like Criterions that everybody wanted, and it was like a
Hmm.
decade or so before they finally released it. Cause I've been following Criterion for like 6 or 7 years, since 2016. I guess 8 years now. Oh God. And ever since I started collecting, I remember people being like, "Train spotting, train spotting." So it's nice that people
So it's
finally
got a
got what
cult
they
following.
wanted. Yeah, it has a big cult following.
Yeah, interesting. I'm gonna look out for that one.
Yeah, you might enjoy it.
Yeah.
I would sell it, but I may one day rewatch it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible.
Mm-hmm. So about your
Yeah.
second movie, if you're
My
ready for
second
that.
movie. This is one of your recommendations, so
Ooh, I like it when
uh,
you watch what I recommend.
yeah. So this is 19. Wait, my God, my notes are hard to read. 1972's Pink Flamingos.
Oh my! I
Finally
forgot I
saw it.
recommended that to you. Oh damn, yeah. I can't wait to hear what you have to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
about this.
First of all, I'm gonna start with what the did I just watch? But yeah, this movie's crazy. It's from the '70s, so you do get like that grindhouse feel to this film. It's definitely grindhousey, but yeah, you got notorious Baltimore criminal Divine and her bizarre family is how I'm gonna put it. I mean, they live in like this small trailer area, and it's
Mm-hmm.
really bizarre. It starts off with her like grandma, and she's like in a crib, and she's just eating eggs like over and over, and they're just like
Yeah.
falling on her. And I'm like, oh man, this
Hard
film's
boiled
already just.
eggs. Yeah.
And you could just see them like on her breast area, just all the
Yeah.
eggs just dropping,
There's
and
like egg stains on her, like yolk stains.
yeah, yeah, it's just right away. I once I saw that, I know what I'm getting into. I said it's gonna be a
What the
filthy
hell did
film.
Christian recommend it?
Yeah, so I was like, it's really bizarre, but I like that, But
Yeah.
yeah, there's and then you got like her son, he lives in the shed,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just really like, he's always like horny. I think pretty much he's just
Yeah.
after women to take him to his chicken coop, like shed there, and do this weird sexual things with him. So it's like really, and this family's bizarre. Like I mean, they're really odd. They live like in this outskirt area where like no one knows where the hell they're at or anything like that. And then you got like these
Pegatoy.
this couple, Raymond and Connie and Raymond Marble, and
Mm-hmm.
they're at odds with them. They're jealous, and they're on competition to pretty much be the filthiest people alive or something like that. If
Yeah.
I said that right. But so they're at like a competition, and it's just really bizarre because like one of the guys, that Raymond, he goes to a park and just like exposes himself to people, and I mean he's
Mm-hmm.
showing it, and he has like this thing tied to his penis. It's like, oh, I don't know if it's to make it look bigger or what he's trying to
Mm-hmm.
do, but it just
Yeah.
freaks women out, and he's like running through the park doing this, and then they get back to their place and just do all this kinky shit. It's just really
Mm-hmm.
odd, and they have like these girls in their like basement, I'm gonna say, and it's like a
Mm-hmm.
dungeon, and they're just impregnating them and selling the babies,
Yeah.
and it's just real odd. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, anyways, they're at odds with each other, and it's just like it's a back and forth payback game through this film, and it's really bizarre. There's parties in the trailer park that I'm pretty sure you've heard that, the butthole scene where this butthole's
Yep.
just going in and out.
Yeah.
And
You'll never
it's
listen to
crazy.
that song again.
No, I
The
was just
same
like,
way.
I was like, what? It's definitely a film It's an experience, is all I'm gonna say. But yeah, it's crazy because like the cops come and they're just like munching him. They're cannibals as well, which is like
Hmm.
crazy. You see like the bones and the flesh being ripped apart, which is pretty good for considering the budget of this film because it's really low budget.
Hmm.
And yeah, we go back and forth. It has these odd scenes. You get uh penis mutilations, shit like that. It's not for the squeamish, you know what I
Oh
mean?
no, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and then we get to the famous, the last scene where with the dog shit,
Oh
which
man.
was was authentic if you guys know about the film. But I and
They had to pay her a lot of money to do that. The directors
and
talked about it.
it's just so real. Like you could tell it's just real. Just her look on her face when she's doing it is just like you want to throw up with her just looking at
Yeah.
it. And man, when I read that it's authentic and all that, which you've told me before, but
Hmm.
yeah, this film is just it's one of those like what the fuck moments. Honestly, this is all I got to see about this movie. But I did enjoy it overall. Kind of gave me like kind of Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes in a bizarre way. But
I can
and
see it. Yeah.
I like the criminal aspects of it, like the kind of Bonnie and Clyde, but it's like a
Hmm.
family. And yeah, it's just a film that I say you got to experience. It's not going to be for everyone, but yeah, I read at the end that she actually called a emergency hotline after that dog shit scene,
Hmm.
and said that she was a mother and she was calling for her kid that had ate dog feces or whatever, and they pretty much told her like nothing's gonna happen. The worst thing that can happen is you might get worms. So she's like, I guess
Oh,
she's
oh
feeling relieved
God.
after, but she's calling for herself, but she's just saying like she's a mother concerned about her kid or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, this film was it's a treat. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I really did enjoy it because I like weird shit like that. So, but yeah, it's a gross out film for sure that I had to finally experience. And I guess in a way I am glad I did and not at the same time.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you finally saw it. Yeah, I completely forgot that I recommended that. That must have been a while ago. Because I haven't thought about that movie in so long. But as I
Mm,
listened to you, I was just laughing so hard. Because, like, everything was coming back to me. Like, just the insanity that is that movie. I rated it,
it's
like, 5 out of
insane.
5. I mean, John Waters, who's the director, like, he is he's the what's his title is like the Godfather of Filth or the King of Filth or something like
Mm,
that. Like every movie with Divine is kind of part of the Filthy like trilogy. I think he calls it. It's that Multiple Maniacs, which is really fucking good. It's a lot less gross out than Pink Flamingos. Pink Flamingos is like the kind of the biggest filth that you can ever get from John Waters. But the other one is Female Trouble, which I don't think I've seen yet. For some reason, I don't know why I haven't yet. But he has tons of movies, and I really love Serial Mom as well, which is
yeah,
his take on the serial killer, and it's a mom, and it's very like satire or satirical and goofy and fun. And it's really funny to think that the guy who ended up being on the Alvin and the Chipmunks movie, he has like a pretty big role in that movie. He started with Pink Flamingos.
oh wow.
I mean, that like it's just amazing the trajectory of his career, like from Pink Flamingos to Alvin and the Chipmunks. Like he is a
What a
he's
transition.
eccentric. That's kind of the best word I can use for him. I really love his interviews as well. I highly recommend listening to them. He has so
Mm,
much knowledge. He seems like the nicest guy in the world. And he has a lot of great kind of tributes to Divine, who is a actor who was in the majority of his movies until Divine, who was a drag queen character. The man behind that persona, he died because of a fatty liver disease, I believe, because he just drank a lot and did a lot of like weed as well, which wasn't good for his heart. But his career ever since Divine has died has been really interesting as well. You have Cecil B. Evil or Cecil B. Demented. Demented is the name. That's like a big homage to like the drive-in movie theater experience, where you have a kind of like a punk team or something like that, and they're trying to kidnap like one of the biggest celebrities at the time, so they can make her be in the movie, and it's really interesting and fun. But he's also been in like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Like his career since kind of these filthy movies has been so interesting. So
mm.
it's great that you finally saw like the biggest, I guess, magnum opus of John Waters. It's unforgettable. I have it at like 5 out of 5. I think it's a perfect
Mhm.
movie for what it is, especially with how low the budget was, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I could see that a 5 out of 5. I for the budget, you got to respect it. I mean, I read on it too some back stuff, and they said they pretty much spent all their money on that trailer
Hmm.
and the other stuff, and it pretty much says they were stealing stuff to make the movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Divine even got arrested for like
Oh yeah.
shoplifting to get stuff for the movie.
Yeah, and there's that really famous scene where they're all like getting high together, like at the cookout or something like that. And behind the scenes, they all took like tons of acid,
Oh wow.
apparently, and like mushrooms and like all this stuff. And on the commentary, you can hear John Waters say, "Yeah, this is the moment right here when everything started kicking in. You see everyone kind of like getting weird, and it's a really funny scene to watch, knowing that." Because everyone's just getting weird and you don't really know why, but it's actually because they're all just tripping balls like
Wow.
so crazily, like.
Yeah, they're playing like instruments and all kinds of
Mm-hmm.
odd stuff. Like that's one of the oddest party scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah.
I
It's
was
just
like,
a
wow.
descent into madness, that movie, like, and I love it. Like, it starts off right off the bat with Divine doing like Grand Theft Auto, I guess, where she's just like forcing people out of the cars and like driving off, and like from there it's just insanity.
Yeah,
And
you know
you
what
meet
you're
a
getting into.
family, like
That son, man, her son, he's just insane, dude. Like, there's no, I don't think he has any shame in anything he does. He's just like all
yeah.
out, and they're a united group. Like they
Hmm.
watch out for each other. Like no one's messing with us. We're the filthiest people alive, as they say in the film.
Yeah.
Scream it out through it, and you got the other group that's at odds with him, and you just tell they're not as hardcore as this family is, but they're trying to be. But yeah, it gave me that like how saw Al Adamson films and stuff like that. It gave me
Oh
like that
yeah.
vibe, maybe because of the budget, but
I
more
definitely see like some Milligan in there too, Andy Milligan,
yeah, maybe more Milligan. But
like
yeah,
ghastly ones, I guess, within that one location the whole movie.
yeah, yeah. I enjoyed it.
Good.
I like weird stuff like that. So
You'll
yeah,
never
that's
be able to see that movie for the first time again. So that's the
no,
sad part about it.
it's an experience for your first time watch.
Oh yeah, I made my dad watch it with me actually, and I'd never seen it before. Apparently, he and my mom went and saw it as the one of the like first dates together. It was in theaters, and like it was being reshown because I know it came out in '72, but they were like reshown it in the theater because it had a really long like theater one because it would just go all over the country and just keep playing because it made so much money, and that's
Hmm.
just how the cult movies worked back then. But apparently they saw it, and my dad always jokes like, "Yeah, I don't know, I don't know if that was a red flag or not, but I guess my son likes it too, so whatever."
It's an
So
experience, man. Just one that sticks with you after you watch it,
yeah,
because you're. I've seen some filthy stuff, but man, that one's right up there with them.
man, the scene of him gaping his asshole is something else. I had no idea
Ammunition.
that was in the movie until I was watching it because I heard the "Bird Is the Word" song playing. I was like, "Oh, I like this song. What are they about to do?" And I was like, "Oh my god, he's having his anus sing the song. Like, what the fuck?"
It's all authentic too.
It is like he's actually doing.
Yeah,
It's not CGI. It's not like special effects. That was just his talent. Like I don't. Like he just can't do that at the talent show. But like.
even I think John Waters was saying on the thing that he didn't want his identity out there. He kept it secret for so many years. He didn't want no one knowing who he was. And I think finally he just said, "Fuck it, I'm older," and he said who he was
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah, this movie is just insanity. Like, oh my gosh. But
Yeah, it's an experience. That's all I gotta say is like a what the fuck moment. If you want to see a bizarre movie that'll stay in your head, watch that. If not, if you're squeamish, don't.
yeah, this is definitely one movie I would heavily warn against if you don't like any of the stuff we've been talking about. Because I know we
Hmm.
kind of spoiled it, but it's not really a spoiler. You have to kind of see it to believe it. But
Yeah,
like, if you're not for that, I would skip it. or at least watch some other cult films and kind of build up to that. Watch some Lucio Fulci first. There's some, stuff like that. I keep
I
going
could
back to
picture
him.
people walking out of it like, what?
People did. People
How
were
were they?
angry when this movie
Yeah.
came out, so, for good reason. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely a 18 plus type movie. So
Yeah. I think it's rated NC-17 or something like that.
yeah, so it's like it's
Yeah.
not even R, it's above
Yeah.
that, which not many movies get
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I can go on to my last movie.
All right.
If we're done talking about pink flamingos, I
Yeah,
can go
that's
all day
one.
on it. But
Me too.
this next movie is a rewatch of mine. I got the 4K of it because they didn't do a Blu-ray of this, I don't believe. So for the longest time, we only had a DVD of it, which was also released by Criterion. And that's how I watched it originally, is that my college had a Criterion DVD of this movie. And it's from 1960. It came out the same year as Psycho. So if that's not hint enough, here's what the answer is. It's Peeping Tom.
Oh, nice.
This movie, I love the cover too. I love the camera and his eye is like right in the middle. Looks great. I'm trying to get this glare not showing. But it's an hour and 40 minutes. It's brisk. It's fast. It's really shocking because this movie's all about... It's basically Psycho. Except instead of a hotel owner, it's a photographer who works on movie sets. And movie starts right off the bat with a actress who is trying to kind of like finish for the day. And she's, there's spooky music going on, and he is following somebody like in the alleyway. You don't even know who this guy is yet. But he's like in the alleyway stalking somebody, like an actress or somebody, with a camera, and it has like a crosshairs on it. So like you're kind of wondering, like, what is that? Is that a gun? Like, is he about to shoot them? But you see, like, he puts on like an attachment to the camera, which is a big spike, and he just kind of films them. And she's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he eventually, gets a room with her because she's a prostitute, and he kills her. And right off the bat, 1960 movie, and it's pretty bloody. It's really grotesque for the day. I know everyone talks about Psycho and how it had to be black and white because it was too violent. But that movie was released in Britain. This movie was released in America, I believe. I'm not sure. I'm trying to look on the back. It usually says what country, but I'm not seeing it. But this movie is in color. So you get kind of that really interesting contrast to Psycho the entire movie. This is all you can really think about because it came out the exact same year. It has a very similar story structure where people are being killed off. The police are investigating. They're always on the edge of catching this guy, but he keeps escaping the attempts. And it's just a really kind of dark movie, very moody, atmospheric. The music is really nice. It's just a really great movie. This is a 4.5 out of 5 for me. The acting is really well done. The main guy, I don't know if his name is Tom or not. I can't remember, but Peeping Tom, he's always peeping at you through his camera, and he saves because he records himself killing them through the camera because he has a spike on the camera, so he just stabs them with the camera, and you see the camera going in and like getting on the scared face because his dad was very abusive when he was growing up, and he had the entire house mic'd up. He had cameras in every single room because he wanted to really focus in on, because he's a biologist, he was studying how children respond to fear. And so he just terrorized his son from the age of like 2 years old until like he died.
Wow.
So he was just like, so this kid grew up, totally fucked up because his dad was doing this back in like the 40s because he's like in his 20s or 30s. I guess back even to the 30s because he has some like really old camera kind of black and white footage playing throughout the movie where you see a little boy, him, like screaming and like being stalked in the hallways by his dad with the camera and like all this stuff. It's really crazy. Like, it's really fucked up. And you see him kind of doing exactly the same thing his dad is doing, but he's not doing it to his son. I mean, he doesn't have like a lover or a wife or kids or anything because he's just not somebody people want to be around. And he keeps running into this one woman who lives downstairs because he owns the building that his father kind of had when he was growing up. So all the rooms are still mic'd up. And he still like has keys to everything, although he rents out a lot of the rooms. So he's like just being this like devious guy like the entire movie, and it's really, really well done. This movie benefited a lot being on 4K because there was a lot of details that I missed watching it on DVD. So this is amazing. I highly, highly recommend this movie. This isn't my first watch, as I said, but the new 4K of it is just great. And also it is British. It's one of the first words is that this is British cinema. So I don't know why Alfred Hitchcock was forced to do black and white, but this movie did exactly... It didn't have the shower scene, I will say. So I think that's why they had to make it black and white, because of that scene. But it was still chocolate they used for the blood. I mean, it looks great on screen, but... Have you seen this movie?
I have not.
Ooh.
Another one I have on the shelf.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You should watch it. Yeah, you would love it. Yeah.
Yeah, when you were talking about him murdering prostitutes, I right away thought Maniac.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's not as crazy as that.
Yeah.
But don't go in thinking that.
Yeah.
It is 1960.
It's a little more tame for that.
Yeah, it's very subdued and nuanced, I guess. So, but there's still a lot of like great Hitchcock scenes that are like really creepy and like tense and all of that. So it's great in that regard.
Was Hitchcock involved in this film, or
I don't think so, but
no?
the director is Michael Powell, who directed another one of my favorite movies called The Red Shoes. It's a musical, like from 1945. I guess 15 years before this. But it's all about a dancer who's trying to crack into the business. And she's one of the best ever, but her manager keeps like trying to exploit her and having her in a relationship with him. And they're working on this big masterpiece, you know, of musicals that like, you know, they're only going to do it once because it's so full of effort and just really hard to do. The dances are very specific, choreographed, very difficult. And it's really fun to think about that this director who did the musical went on to do like a, you know, serial killer movie. Like, it's really interesting.
What came out, this one or Maniac? Maniac. I keep saying Maniac. This one or Psycho? Which one came out first?
I'm not sure. I think maybe Hitchcock came out first. Because this movie was not really that successful when it came out. And I assume because of Psycho. Because, I mean, that movie's, you know, classic. I haven't seen it in forever. I need to rewatch it. But this movie got a big cult following afterwards. And for good reason. It's really great. The restoration makes it look so much better, too.
I'm going to have to watch that, too. Pretty soon there. Got it in the pile, too, so...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, looks right up my alley. I like those kind of psychotic killer movies, or that's my stuff right there.
And this guy is actually really charismatic as well. He's not like Norman Bates where you know there's something wrong with him. This guy's just like a normal, like everyday introvert until you start learning about his background and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, this guy needs help.
And that's even creepier, just for him to be like, seem like just a straight character, and then to go bizarre and psychotic like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and you know right away it's him because, I mean, the opening scene transitions to him looking at the footage that he just shot of killing the woman. So, like, there are no ambiguities or mystery as to who the killer is. You know right off the bat. Which I really enjoy. I don't like wasting time trying to figure that out. So, it's a really interesting story structure.
Does it have like that 60s psychedelic music, like that type of music? I like
a little bit, yeah. It kind of has like a funky kind of soundtrack, so it's fun in that regard too. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to watch that one soon for sure. Got it on the shelf there. I'm staring at it right now.
The guy is peeping at you.
Oh man, that'd be creepy as hell, man. There's really people like that. That's the scary part.
Voyeurs, yeah.
Yeah,
that's about all I have for this movie, if you want to go on.
Well, I'll move on to my final one. another first time watch. When I This is one of my newer releases that I picked up,
Ooh.
and it's 1995's To Die For
Ooh, yeah,
with
I haven't seen
Nicole
that.
Kidman.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one it's like a crime thriller, um, but it's more than that. Like if I could put it, it's a dark in a way, a dark comedy in a way too, but too I can't describe it. It's dark. That's all I'm gonna say. But
Yeah.
it's got music by Danny Elfman. I mean
Oh,
Batman,
okay.
Tim Burton movies. So that right
From
away puts you
Oingo
in the mood.
Boingo.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it stars Nicole Kidman as Suzanne Stone, and she's this pretty much this girl that's dreamed of being a on TV. She's obsessed with being on TV, and she's her dreams to be a anything involving a camera. She wants so she pretty much has an ambition to be a. She goes for a weather girl, pretty much saying the weather, and she she's ambitious. She'll stop at nothing to get where she's at. But then you kind of see her history that it's kind of strange. You could tell she had a bizarre childhood just by the way her and her dad act, stuff like that. You know, there's something wrong with her.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for it because she seems too like goody two shoe, and she ends up meeting this guy working at a bar. It's played by Matt Dillon. He's like this Italian guy. He's a manager at a restaurant. And he right away I mean Nicole Kidman's an attractive woman, man, and he right away gets like every guy I think just can't get their eyes off her. Just like blonde, she has all the looks you would look for in a woman,
Hmm.
thin, shapy, all right away all the guys are like just blown away. So she walks into this bar, and I mean he's in love with her instantly. This Matt Dillon character, and he kind of an obsession in a way if you think about it. And his sister's like, she doesn't see it. She sees the fake in her and like, why do you like this girl? There's so many other ones around. But he's like, nah, this is the one I need or whatever. And they kind of hitch it off. They start to date. They get married. They go through all that. And as they're getting married, that's when they're married for a while. It's like, I think they're only married within a year in this film. And everything just starts to like go dark. I mean, like menacing, and you see her true colors that she's just totally obsessed with just being this person on camera. She'll stop at nothing, and when he gets in her way, it turns kind of dark, and you
Mm.
start to see like all this girl's kind of psychotic. So she starts to work at this high school, and she meets these like teens, and she's doing a documentary and stuff on them. And it's played by Joaquin Phoenix. He's played like
Ooh.
a teenage metalhead in this movie, like with a vest on, rocker, all that. And he has these two friends, a girl and guy, and she's doing a documentary, and she kind of, I mean, it turns into a seducing with her and Joaquin Phoenix,
Oh
and
my god.
little pedophile stuff there because he's like supposedly a teenager,
Hmm.
and she pretty much gets what she wants throughout this movie, and it goes down a dark path where you get a murder twist in it, and pretty good, satisfying ending as well. I'm not gonna say, but I mean, Nicole Kidman knocks it out of the park in this movie. She's just like kind of dingy blonde, but then she's not very intelligent. But then
Hmm.
when getting her way, she is. She knows how to get her way, and she uses that instead of like her intelligence used in a different way, if that makes sense. But yeah, you got a young Casey Affleck in this film too,
Oh.
and I think he beat out brother Ben Affleck in this
Yeah.
film for that role, and they gave it to him. I guess the director said because he had more of the Boston accent than Ben Affleck. I guess he was losing his accent,
Ah, yeah.
so they chose the brother more over. But I guess he ended up getting with this director and making Good Will Hunting, so I guess it worked
Oh,
out for
okay.
him in the end. And yeah, well, this is based off a novel, and I guess the Suzanne character says in the novel that she wishes she could meet the woman married to Tom Cruise, and that's to play the role, and that's exactly who plays the role, Nicole Kidman. So
Yeah.
it's kind of strange, kind of a coincidence there, because she was married to Tom Cruise at that time.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's um, I guess she had to. They originally gave the role to Meg Ryan, but
Hmm.
she turned it down. She didn't want to do it. She said it was too dark of a character. So I guess Kidman got it, Nicole Kidman, and she did it for like half the money. So they signed, they she got the role instantly there. But yeah, it's one of those dark, twisted ones, and I just love the ending. The twist is you see it
Hmm.
coming, kind of, but it's like
Yeah.
Oh, and there's a cameo from Cronenberg, David
Oh,
Cronenberg in this
okay.
film.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
he makes a cameo in this, a real cool character too.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I absolutely love this film. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of 5. Like
Ooh, wow. Yeah.
it blew me. It's my style of film. Like it's just like so demented, and but like it plays it so well. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you wonder, like, you don't know what your how could you say it, spouse. You don't know their evil intentions. You
Yeah.
don't know somebody till you really start living with them, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then you start to see true colors on someone. But yeah, highly recommend this if you haven't seen it. Very good movie.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I saw that at Barnes& and Noble a few times when I went to the sale, but I just never got it. I never read the back. The cover did not draw my attention at all. My eyes would
Mm.
just, scan right over it. But now that I know, like, all this great stuff, like, I need to get it next sale. Like, it sounds
Yeah, I think you'd
awesome.
enjoy it. I might be a little biased because it's my type of film, so I might be a little, but
Yeah.
I think you'd enjoy it overall.
Yeah, it reminds me of that one movie that I really loved. I think I talked about on a previous episode. But it was the one where it's the nightclub owner and it has all these different characters like going around. And you have like the younger character who's coming to the club because her boyfriend's there. And you have the club owner whose girlfriend is one of the dancers. And it's kind of like this tornado of all these characters. They're all connected in some way.
Mhm.
And the way that you described this movie, it kind of sounded like that. I wish I remembered what the name was. I got too many movies on the shelf for me to
Yeah,
easily track it down. But yeah, it sounds like that. And I love that movie. I gave that one like a 5 out of 5. I was blown away by it.
and it is like how you described it. And what I like about this movie is it switches like time. It'll go to a certain time here, certain time. You're kind of guessing like when did this happen?
Hmm.
When did this happen? Is it going back for? It keeps you in like a time loop kind of throughout the movie.
Yeah, that,
But
that
then it
sounds
makes sense as it
fascinating.
goes. It all comes together. Yeah, I really like that. It's done uniquely. You don't see that too often. You do, but
Hmm.
not done this well to me.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do they show like what bands Rocking Phoenix listens to? That's always
I
like
don't
one of my
know.
favorite things is when they have that kind of archetype character, and I'm like, oh, let me see his bedroom. Let's see his posters on the wall.
It's like Joaquin Phoenix, Casey Affleck, and this
Hmm.
girl, and they're all
Yeah.
rockers. They all have the vests on, and they're blasting metal throughout the movie. You'll hear metal throughout the movie.
Ooh, because
I
that's
don't
like one
know,
of my
but yeah,
favorite like character types in these type of movies. Because it's like,
hmm
hey, it's kind of like me.
yeah.
Growing
hmm
up. So
They even have the vest, the Levi vest, and
I wish
the
I got
chains.
one of those vests
Yeah,
growing up. I never did. I don't know
yeah.
why, but maybe I'm not a true rocker without it.
They're at a graveyard breaking stuff. God, just smashing
Ooh,
windows
like
and stuff
Return of the
like that.
Living Dead.
Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
This isn't a costume. This is a lifestyle.
hmm We should just
Suicide.
fuck this whole city up. It's pretty
Yeah.
much what they're saying. Yeah, it's an awesome film. Blew me away, honestly.
Awesome. Well, I think that's about wraps it up. We're almost exactly an hour, about 53 minutes. So we made really good time. Thank you so much for coming back on the channel and talking Withering Watchpile, but specifically Criterion Collection. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Christian, for having me, and I look forward to the next one.
Yeah. And what topic do you want to do next before we end it?
Man,
Have you
I
thought
haven't
about
thought of that.
that?
I haven't thought of
Yeah.
that. Do we have a list, or do you want me to just think of one?
I have a list somewhere around
Let's
here.
see.
I don't remember where I put it, but
You know what? I don't know if you could do this, but sleazy slashers, would that be all right? Or
I
have we
could
done it?
probably do that. Yeah,
Or have we done it before?
we've done it, but we've done Criterion many times,
Okay,
so
maybe
we're good.
sleazy slashers.
Okay, yeah, slashes. And then if I can't find enough movies of it, we can tweak it just a little bit to
Yeah,
be
yeah.
like 80s horror. I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
We'll go to the slasher trope, I guess.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Thank you again, everyone, and thank you for watching. Bye.